Howdy. So a couple nights ago, I watched Limitless, and thought it was okay. I'm basically going to give it a 7, though I've basically talked myself up to giving it a 7. After I finished it, I thought it was a 6, but the more I thought about it, the more I gotta give it a 7. Limitless is about a guy who happens across a drug, a pill, that gives you access to 100% of your brain. You can have 100% of your brain and be brilliant and what have you. The catch is you've got to keep taking the pill or it will kill you. If you stop taking the pill, you will die. So he takes the pill, becomes genius. He is a writer, becomes an even better writer. Does a lot of stuff, does a lot of Wall Street stuff, goes on to politics, yada yada yada. All because of a pill. Stars Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro, Abby Cornish, though as I sit here, I'm even trying to remember what woman was in this movie. So whoever Abby Cornish was, who else is in it? Andrew Howard, Anna Friel. Let's see here. Based upon a book. That is kind of its saving grace here, and also something that detracts from it. The Dark Fields is the book. Screenplay by Leslie Dixon and directed by Neil Berger. I know the name Neil Berger. I'm not for sure what else he's done, but I know that name. The reason I said a 6 is because I think Bradley Cooper is the only fully formed character here. He has a lot to do. Everyone else in the film is even kind of abstract. Even Robert De Niro, you never get like a real feel or what his character is like, except for the fact that he is Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro brings an air, a gravitas, if you will, to anything he does. So he sits down and suddenly you're like, okay, this guy, he's this and this and this, but you're reaching those conclusions because of Robert De Niro. You're looking at Robert De Niro in his face and you're like, okay, so this guy is this and this and this. You don't really discover anything else about him through his actions or his speech. Anything too great. He has a minimal role in this, but he is Robert De Niro, and he brings a power to the screen, as soon as he's on it. So that, he is good here, which is one of the reasons I bumped it up to a 7. Another reason I bumped it up to a 7 is it's very stylish. The film is about drugs, and from the very get-go, it is extremely psychedelic. In fact, like, some of the camera techniques I really was not familiar with, and found them to be fresh and exciting. And fitting with the storyline, again, of being about drugs, very trippy. So that was very cool. And I also liked that it had a uncompromising ending. I hate spoilers, I don't want to talk about it too much, but it had a very, what I would call, un-American ending. Or maybe not un-American, maybe I should just say anywhere else in the world. It had a very European ending. It had a very Asian ending, meaning that it had a very real ending. Usually in America you get a schmaltzy, happy, everything is going to be okay ending. You don't get that here. You get a honest ending, and it's a very interesting ending. And so I was like, wow, that's kind of really ballsy to end a movie that way. So I think that deserves a little pump up. Again, I gave it a 6 because, well, a 6 because, again, everyone else seems to be just like circulating Bradley Cooper, you know, and they just pop in and go away, and they're not, you know, we don't really know much about any of them. Lots of things happen here, and again, this is what I mean. That this is based on a book, and like it tries, I can feel it trying to hit the big plot points of the book, and I imagine the novel fully explored like everything that happened, but here like major things happen, and they just kind of fade out. They're not really mentioned again. And I'm like, you know, but what happened, you know, to the murder victim or whatever? You know, I'm wondering what happened to these things that seem so important, and were just kind of glossed over with like a title card a few years later. You know, we don't really get too much closure on some of the big ideas here. But again, I'm sure they were trying to honor the book and trying to cram as much into it. But if you don't explore, if you don't flesh out, if you don't realize where those turns go, then I think they're just, you know, teases, and you know, it's not nice to tease. So yeah, it looked really good. I enjoyed the use of color. When he was not on the drugs, everything was one color. When he was on drugs, everything was a different color. It seemed to shine a little bit more, seemed to move a little bit quicker. I enjoyed that. Hold on one second. Hello? Okay, I'm on my way. Overall, I mean, it was very stylish. And Bradley Cooper was very good. I mean, he's becoming more and more popular. I think he's a fine actor. I'd like to see him... Here he was a little less Bradley Cooperish. I mean, he showed levels of himself. I like that. So it's very good for Bradley Cooper. So, I mean, overall, I enjoyed watching it. And again, like, after I stopped watching it, I thought about it. Like, even into the next day. So I thought that was worthy of a 7. But it's definitely not, you know, too great. But a good watch. And again, uncompromising and surprising. And very, very stylish. So that's it. So that's Limitless. A good 7. A good watch. Check it out. Thanks.